Hey, what's up, everyone? I want to talk to you guys about the season that you're in. The season that you're in. I think it's important to gain some understanding on your season and basically what your season is saying to you. So, welcome to the Wisdom Couch. Today I want to talk to you about knowing the season that you're in. It's important, and I will be transparent because I'm in a season, and I have been in a season now for a couple of years. And at first I didn't have a clue what God was saying to me in my particular season. The first year it was very much just being delivered from just a lot of things, a lot of ways, a lot of behaviors that I had. The second year was a continuous deliverance, but growing in God in a more intimate way, reading the Word and understanding who He is. The third year was a year of confusion. I didn't have a clue what was happening. By that time, I had gained more spiritual insight on who I am in Christ, who God is to me, what He has done for me, and what He has called me to do. But within that season, all I could see was, I could see what I wanted to do right now. I could see what was ahead of me in terms of what God has called me to do. But the confusion came because I try to make it happen. I try to do what God was showing me that He called me to do. I try to make it happen. And I became confused and somewhat frustrated because I didn't know, I wasn't able to make it happen. So I want to stop here and say to you, sometimes we confuse ourselves because we know what God has called us to do, even if we don't have an idea exactly what it is, but we know what our gifts are. And many times we try to make God's plans happen without first enduring the process, going through the process, going through the journey, being patient through the journey, being patient through the process, being patient through the process, enduring the process, understanding the process, understanding what season we are in and how to make this season productive, even if we don't think that it is productive. Many times the work that we're supposed to do is inside of us. It's in us first before we can make it happen externally. So we tend to focus on the external because that's what validates us. That's what people in the world, in society, see as success, see as growth, when something externally has changed. But God looks at the internal. God looks at the heart. Everyone out there look at the external. And so we sometimes escape the season and try to avoid the internal process because we're so focused on the external. I found myself in a place where my attitude was very much, and I will show it to you. I don't know. God, what do you want? I don't know. Is everything on? I don't know. Are you okay? I don't know. How do you feel? I don't know. And I'm being serious with you because I was so focused on the external, and I was so focused on trying to make it happen, and I was so focused on doing this and doing that I failed to realize the season that I am in. And I think it's embarrassing when someone say to you, well, how's everything going? It's not going great. But when you're in the season and you know what season you're in, things are great because you have peace and you have joy that comes from Christ. You have to know what season you're in, even if the season is not a pleasant one. It's not always going to be roses. It's not always going to be pleasant. It's not always going to be joyful. But God won't put more on you than you can bear. Even when it feels unbearable, it doesn't mean that it is unbearable. It just means that you're in a season that does not feel favorable. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel pleasant. It doesn't make you happy. It doesn't make you joyful. That's a lot of my seasons that I've been in throughout my entire life. And sometimes I say to God, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Are you punishing me? Are you allowing me to be punished? What is this? But he's not punishing, he's preparing. And so there are a couple of things I want to say to you. I want to say to you, if you're not in a good place, that's the season that you're supposed to be in. You may not feel like you're in a good place. You may not. But God is processing you. You have to be processed before you can be manufactured, factored, and put out there on the shelves. You have to be processed. You have to be made. You have to be cooked. You have to be stirred. You have to be smothered and smooth. You have to be smooth before God prepares you for what he calls you to do. It's not going to be pleasant. A lot of people that we see out there who are doing the work of God, they went through a season. I am sometimes quiet because I am in a season. I am sometimes quiet because I'm supposed to be quiet. That is my season, to be quiet. So I say to you today, not because a motivational speaker said, you need to go out there and do what you're supposed to do. Sometimes that's not the season that you're in. Sometimes that is the season that you're in. The only person who can answer the season that you're in is you. And in order for you to know the season that you're in, you have to pay attention to what is happening around you, but most importantly, inside of you. Sometimes we're in a season where we're really supposed to cut people off, but we're holding on to them, and then we find out a lot of things are happening, and fights are happening, arguments are happening, people are ghosting us, people are doing this, people are doing that. Sometimes that's the season you're in. So your goal is to stop holding on to these people who you should have been cut off. Sometimes we're in a season where it's quiet, but we're running after the noise. We're trying to run after the noise. We're trying to find the party. We're trying to find the outdoor events. We're trying to find people to call on the phone. Some of them will pick up, and you realize that it's a bunch of noise. You realize that you go out and it's noisy. What does that tell you? You should be in a season of silence. Sometimes we're in a season of reaping, and we realize these opportunities are coming, and instead of grabbing them and going after them, we are sitting back. Oh, I'm waiting on God. That's not your season. Sometimes we're in a season where we are supposed to just enjoy life. Go out, enjoy life. But you're home watching Netflix, bored, agitated, and watching everyone going out. Your season is to take a vacation. Your season is to go out with family and friends. Your season is to go out with your spouse. Your season is something else. So why are you home being miserable on Netflix, watching shows that don't even excite you? It's important to know your season. To everything, there is a season. Your season does not consistently remain the same. It changes, just like the 4 seasons. And in the tropics, the rainy season and the dry season. Your season changes. Sometimes your season is filled with sunlight and nothing happens, nothing is falling off the trees. Sometimes your season is about falling, letting things go, let it change, colors change, things happen, things change in your life. Sometimes your season is a season where everything is just completely shed. Like all the leaves have fallen and it's cold, it's gray, it's gloomy. But then you realize right after that, your season is filled with the blooming of flowers. Your season is filled with growth or regrowth. Your season is filled with birds and bees and flowers and trees. Your season is filled with something else. And then you realize you switch into summer again. So what am I saying to you? Pay attention to your season. Sometimes your season is literally about enduring the season. What is the lesson being taught to you in the season that you're in? Are you paying attention? Are you adjusting to the season? Are you putting on the coat for the season? Or you're just out there getting frost bites everywhere? What is the season telling you? What is your season telling you? And that's your assignment. Pay attention to the season. Stop fighting the process. Stop trying to make things happen. Stop trying to rush God. Because what God has for you, one, you can't do it without Him. Two, you just can't make it happen without Him because it came from God. It's heavenly. It comes from heaven. You're on earth. You can't do that. To get to heaven, you got to go through Christ. You can't do it on your own. Be patient. Be sensitive and discern the season that you're in. Be encouraged. Thank you so much for watching on The Wisdom Couch. Take care. Bye-bye.